Yeah. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Little thunderstruck. We were over the weekend. We were blessed. We didn't get hit as hard as some of the other states. We listened throughout the day. We were here, all of us, over the weekend in some way, shape, or form, whether online, via the Comrex system, on the phone, Joan and Ken do unlike what we saw. But as we always talk about, nature will do what nature does, and nature does nature things. And unfortunately, nature was brutal over the weekend in several states, including like Missouri, absolutely, Alabama, took a beat down Mississippi. It was just nasty. And we got hit pretty good, but there by the grace of God go us. And just a great job for everybody this weekend working hard here. There's so many places to start. You know what's funny is the whole, like I heard, that Trump wants to, look at these pardons. And, I'm sitting there going, okay, yay, nay. And it has nothing to do with the pen, by the way. Because I think a lot of people think it has all to do with this auto pen. It doesn't. Auto pen's been used for a long time. It's not a big deal. It is whether or not he knew about any of these things is the question. So, and that is for somebody else to decide. Because as much as all of us would like him to go, hey, first of all, who did you pardon? Not even retroactive. You pardoned people who hadn't been charged with anything, which is weird. And I don't know. I think that right there is a bigger issue. Like, how do you pardon somebody who's not been even accused of something in a court of law? And I'm not talking about online. Or pardon somebody who hasn't been convicted of anything. So that was an interesting thing. But, of course, obviously, the big stuff this weekend, the Houthis, that was not about the Houthis either, as horrible as they are. They're freaking awesome. They're just so awful. I mean, what Trump did was great. That was a message singularly for one group of people, Iran and the Iranians. You are not doing anything when it comes to nuclear weapons. We just want you to understand what is coming, if you even think about it, is not going to be Israel. As much as Israel would like to, it will be us. So deal with these people in a way where you tell them, hey, we're not getting involved anymore. You guys do what you want. And as bad as Gaza is, and it is horrific, Yemen has suffered through a famine over the last few years. A war that has been horrific. Torture, rape, murder, I can go on and on. And the Houthis have been at the head of it all. And it's time that this was all about Iran. And when I hear them talking about, did you see all the people that were killed in Yemen? They were all kids. I'm like, really? There's always kids and women. Nobody else? So they're out there manning everything? They're out there protecting all of the missiles? Is that what you guys are doing? It's always about the kids. Yeah, we put the kids out there. That's what we had to do. That's how they protect them. But this was about Iran. Make no doubt. This had nothing to do with the Houthis and whether or not they're firing. They don't do anything without express written consent by Iran. The Houthis do nothing. They have to get it's okay. And boom. They got something else different this weekend. Something different. And that different was, hey, we're not going to tolerate this. And like I said, the Houthis were the people that felt the brunt. The target, though, is the Iranian regime, because as they are starting to continue to flirt with over and over again a nuclear weapon, which we have said on numerous occasions, and I've said it for years, that paper wasn't worth anything it was written on when they made a deal for nuclear weapons with Iran. It was never worth anything. And the problem should be, if they ever got a nuclear weapon, do you realize that we'd have to basically arm a vast majority of that area? Because there's no way, shape, or form that anybody in their right mind would think that Iran wouldn't start using them and bullying everybody in the neighborhood. And the upheaval, as crazy and as wacky as North Korea is, Iran is a bigger issue. You think Saudi Arabia, who is there. As much as Saudi Arabia, quote unquote, hates the Jews, which they don't. They just want to do business. Everybody just leave them alone. They hate Iran more. And Iran hates them more. So you could not allow them to be the only ones on the block with a nuclear weapon. And that's why this message was important. And the other message this weekend was immigration. Everybody saw it. I know a lot of you are probably excited about it. Bad hombres, as Trump likes to call them. That's what he called them, too. Bad hombres. Very bad.
I can tell you this, these were bad people. That was a bad group of, as I say, hombres. That was a bad group. When you look at them and you look at the crimes that they've committed, you take a look. You don't get any tougher. You don't get worse than that. You understand that. So.
I think we all understand it. They are bad hombres. And they're gone. A lot of them were wanted in other countries. A lot of them had done stuff here, which is not a shocker that they're out roaming the streets because for whatever reason, we've decided to have nobody in jail. Now, the interesting thing is what comes next. Because the act that he has, and look, I'm a big believer in due process. I'm also a big believer in the Constitution. And he said, hey, you know what? This is war.
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
But it's not war the way that this thing was supposed to be used. And remember, who can declare war? Anyone? Congress declares war. Now, I want these people gone. I think we all do. Don't give people the reason to say, look at what you're becoming. Don't tell them, you know what? We're going to do whatever we want to do, whenever we want to do it, and nobody can stop us. That is not a good thing at all. I want these people gone in a major way. They are bad hombres, as he said. That being said, and I don't know, like he said, well, the plane took off. And there's a possibility by the time this guy got everything said and done, it was in the air and it was over international space. You know what? Are we really all going to cry over this all day long? No. But the question is, what comes now? The one thing Trump hasn't done is he's not defied court orders, and that's a good thing. Because we do have 3 separate co-equal branches of government, and we want to make sure we continue to have that. Even though, let's be real, Congress has kind of given up a lot of their oomph over the last 15, 20 years. They don't want to make any decisions, right? They pass things on to agencies. You guys make up this. You guys do. We don't want people to be mad at us. That's Congress. What we want is you follow the laws. Because when you win in court and when you win and they have nothing to say, that's the big thing. Because they've got nothing. They've got. And look, they're going to look for every advantage, and I love the fact that Trump's thinking outside. Well, okay, let's try this. Let's see what this is. And then go to court because, as we've said, he's going to throw a lot of stuff against the wall. We're going to see what sticks. We are going to see what sticks. Is this going to stick? Is it not going to stick? It's been used 3 times. It was first used in 1812, War of 1812, for those of you who are historic. Germany, World War I, they used it then. And then against the Italians, the Japanese, and the Germans. Now, that was wartime. Is this war? Have we declared war? What would it look like if it got to court? Because remember, he can't declare war. That's Congress. Of course, Biden, somebody's like, do you say Biden? Of course, Biden defied courts until he got to the Supreme Court. Once it died, it died. And he tried it over and over again with different things. But if you think we should just throw everybody out, if you guys are cool with throwing away the Constitution, then let me know. I mean, I'm interested in that. Are you guys fine with doing away with the Constitution? Are you? I mean, I don't want to do away with it, but are you guys fine with doing away with the Constitution? That's the big thing. If you're not, if you're like, hey, nope, the president should be the end all to say all, then that's great. I'm okay if that's the way you guys feel. That's fine. And if the goal is let's just get rid of everybody, okay. But what happens if somebody else becomes president from a different party? Probably not the Democrats because they suck so much. We'll call that Party B. Party C, like I see you guys laughing in there. Did you see those
numbers? The Green
numbers?
Party.
The Green Party, right? Like, what's her name? Jill Stein takes over.
The Socialist Party.
Whatever. The thing is, I'm a study. I love the Constitution. I look at the Constitution. It is 3 co-equal branches. Yes, the president has certain leeway. So does the Supreme Court. So, I mean, the judicial system itself and the legislative body, which at this point in time is useless. We all recognize that. I want these people gone. I've had dealings with MS-13. How many of you said that? Trust me, I know how bad these hombres are. How really bad they are in ways that many of you probably don't or may never, ever understand. But there's also a system. Should we ignore the Constitution because we want our guy to do what he wants to do? I think that's a fair question out there. So Trump is not violating the Constitution. He hasn't. If he was to send people back today, if he said, screw it, I don't care what the judge says, whatever I say goes. I'm saying if he was to do that, I haven't said he has. I said if he was to do that, then why have judges at all in that situation? Isn't that a fair thing to say, or am I wrong, guys? What do you think? I mean, should we just let him run and do whatever he wants to do? No. And I think most of you recognize that. You wouldn't want that on the other side. That's why we have judges. That's why we have our co-equal branches. And like I said, one of the branches, being Congress, has decided they don't want any part of anything serious. So they ignore it. Or they kick it down the road, or they have somebody else make up the rules, like agencies. Serious question, though. Some of you be mad. Oh, my God, you just don't know. I look at this, and I say to myself, I want Trump to do it right, because when you measure twice and you cut once and you get it right and you don't give them any more fuel for the fire, it makes them look bad in not only the long run, but the short term. So let's see what happens. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to today. Yes, we made fun of the Democrats, and they deserve it because their numbers are so bad. Litter box bad is how bad their numbers are. We're going to talk a bit about that. A bunch of other stuff to get to. If you missed the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. All of this incredible stuff packed into an amazing supplement. You give your dog on a daily basis. I've been giving my dogs this for years. My older dog, Doodle, he passed away several months ago, but they told us to put him down. And we thought, we'll try Rough Greens when I first started working with him. And he got another 5.5, 6 years out of his life. And it was amazing. It was. He was a different dog. So the 90-day challenge is what they're challenging you to do. You're going to see a whole new world with your dog. Their fur, their coat itself, you're going to see it get shinier and fuller. It's not going to fall out. On top of that, their skin's going to be great. Their digestive tract, all of that stuff is going to work in ways you can believe. Their heart health, their immune system, and their joints. So the aches and pains they have, especially as they get older, well, those are going to start to dissipate. Try a Jumpstart trial bag now. It is a $20 value. You get it absolutely free. Just cover the cost of shipping. ruffgreens.com, ruffgreens.com. Go there now. Use my code Chad. ruffgreens.com, code Chad.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Got a couple of Democrat U.S. senators warning families might starve under the Trump administration efforts to slash the federal government spending. We'll tell you about that at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
How are they going to starve? Is this the SNAP stuff?
Nope, this is apparently the Local Food for Schools program and the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement program.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Wow. I didn't even know what that means.
Can they shorten these? Can they shorten these?
Like SNAP, right? SNAP's easy.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I mean, it's, but the whole thought of what was that again?
That is the Local Food for Schools program and the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement program under the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Say that 3 times fast.
Wow. So, those things are all gone? No, they're not gone. None of these things. You know what? They're moved to other things. They go under the State Department. They go under this. They go under that. A vast majority of those programs are going to stick around. But it's the whole thing is to tell them, and you know this better than anybody, man. Yeah, and it's like, oh, the kids are going to. Like this, like we go and we attack Yemen. The Yemenis, the Houthis come out, they're like, yeah, all you killed was kids and women.
Yeah.
Like they never say you killed 40 of our finest soldiers.
Right.
It's always kids and women.
Yeah, and it's never because we were in their house or we were using them as shields.
Yeah, never. It's all, God, you killed kids and women. I can't believe you did that. Well, why can't you believe we did that? I mean, of course. I mean, we bombed a place that's a military base. Yeah. Who are you letting run your military? Kids and women. Just at night when we know you're coming for us. And it's the same thing here, right? We use kids and women. It's like, if kids won't eat, it's going to be the Republicans. This is going to be on you. They're not going to eat. Yes, they are. They're going to eat because somebody will come up with the state will come up with it. We'll find out, oh, geez. They're always looking for something to blame, and they use kids and women as the thing. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the only thing I'm seeing right now from a newsmaker in an article is that a food bank, I think it's in Wisconsin, says they may not be able to hire as many people.
Okay. So what does that mean? So sorry, we only have 4 people working, so we can't feed all of you. Well, we'll come back. It's all fried. It's all freeze dried, anyways.
I thought you just, this is KFC.
Well, this is supposed to be fresh vegetables.
Oh, jeez. Fresh vegetables. Who's going to pick them? Because we kicked everybody out of the country. Well, we're great. Now the kids have a job.
Ain't that ironic? The way Democrats fight racism and xenophobia is racism.
That's the best way to do it. The best way to fight racism, obviously, more racism.
Yeah.
What was her name on Friday? Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett.
She's like, well, who's going to pick all your stuff now? Who's going to clean your hotels? Who's going to take care of your kids? Who's going to, I'm like, I don't know. Like a machine? Like maybe a machine? Machines seem like they do something like that. They pick stuff. As soon as we figure that out, it's going to be great.
And as soon as and they are working toward that, and there will not be people picking anything.
No. By the way, even if you allow all of these people to stay here, you don't think that farmers are working on technology to pick all these things? Of course they are. Absolutely. I mean, they've been working on technology for all of this stuff, and they'll continue to do so. And continue to do so, and continue to do so, because that's what technology does. It gives us an opportunity to move forward and to do things better, more inexpensive, quicker, and in many cases, you don't have to deal with whiny employees.
I think any job you have whiny employees, you just got to find out which one.
Nah, dude, if you've come here and you've walked for 3 months to get here, and you've traversed the horrors of what these people go through to get here, you're just stoked that you're getting paid something. You got a place. You're not whining.
I'm not saying they're the whiners.
No, our people are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're young, right? Like, you're young. You all whine.
Oh, I complain. I just don't.
You do. You whine all.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, how was your date?
It went well. There's another one happening tonight.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, that's
nice.
why I'm wearing green. There's no way I'm getting pinched.
Oh, there's no way I'm going to get pinched. I'm wearing green.
No, when people, especially today, when people pinch, they want to hurt you. It's not like a playful, I got you. So
Are you even allowed to do that anymore? That feels like an HR violation waiting to happen.
I mean, if it's at a bar, I mean, that's more of a
Well, I guess if you're at a
police
bar
issue than anything.
So somebody said I work at Kubota. We have an automated tractor or two in the works, and it won't be long before you see driverless tractors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's already happening in some places.
So, yeah, big time. I mean, there is so much stuff that is happening technology wise, not just for the farms and not just for large kind of commercial farms that we see when we talk about these things. Because if you've ever seen them, I mean, they've got hundreds of people out there picking fruits and vegetables, and that stuff's going to go away because you're going to have machines that will do this at such a fast pace. And with the technology, it's not only those machines, they'll pass it off to other machines that will sort it, that will clean it, that will get it ready. It's incredible. It is. And it's already happening in some places. So we'll see. Coming up, speaking of burnout, most people are burnt out their jobs. We'll talk a little bit about that. More on Trump, a bunch of other things. You missed any show, grab the podcast. It is the Chad Benson Show.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now, a federal judge in D.C. setting a hearing this afternoon over claims the Trump administration violated his order to return a deportation flight, two of them actually, of what the Trump administration says were Trinidad gang members to El Salvador. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says they were already over international waters when that judge's order to return came. The Trump administration is defending its decision to deport a medical school professor based at Brown University. Stephen Portnoy.
The administration says the Brown University kidney specialist traveled to her native Lebanon last month not to visit relatives, but instead to attend the funeral of the slain Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Homeland Security says Rasha Alaway openly admitted this during her detention at Boston's Logan Airport. Officials say they also found photos and videos sympathetic to Hezbollah on Alaway's phone. Despite a judge's order aimed at preventing her deportation, the doctor's visa was canceled, and she's now reportedly back in Lebanon.
Elsewhere in our nation's capital, Karen Travers says the United States will keep attacking Yemen's Houthi rebels until they stop attacking ships in the Red Sea.
The president is really ramping up his rhetoric. He posted on his Truth social media platform that these attacks being made by the Houthis, he said, all emanate from and are created by Iran. The president said any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force.
And Democrat U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal claims families might starve under Trump administration cuts to a program in the USDA designed to help farmers supply fresh food to food banks.
We are ready to fight because we've never been at a more critical moment for our democracy, for working families.
Well, the USDA announced around $1 billion in cuts last week due to the cancellation of the Local Food for Schools program and the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement program. The cuts come amid efforts by President Trump's administration to slash the federal budget. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Retirement Ready Toolkit. With the markets the way they are, people feeling uncertain about things that are going on, tariffs, a weakening dollar, it's time that you talk to our friends over at Beacon Capital Management. A lot of people are worried out there. You deserve the confidence to know that no matter what is going on in the economy, you have a plan to keep your financial goals in line with your life's priorities, i.e., you're in retirement, heading towards retirement right there, and you don't want to get into a situation where you have to unretire to keep going. Call today, get a free Money for Enough book for life, right, which is awesome. It's a retirement planning checklist and a maximizing your retirement income white paper. It is the Retirement Ready Toolkit from Beacon. It doesn't cost you anything. It's no obligation, absolutely no pressure. The great thing is they're local. Go shake their hands, say hi to them. Call 615-488-9303 to get your free Retirement Ready Toolkit. That's 615-488-9303, or check them out online at askbeaconnow.com. March Madness, baby. I'm excited. How many billions of dollars are going to be lost playing March Madness? How many of us will be paying attention to the play-in game?
How is North Carolina in? Explain that to me.
Because they're North Carolina.
They were
and
terrible
their
this
AD
year.
was also on the selection committee.
Yeah, isn't that something?
I have news for you. If your AD's on the committee, you should think it's probably going to get a vote. Right? It's probably going to get a vote.
Well, my school is the University of Arizona, so bear down, baby. Hope they do well.
Bear down. Fork. I was in Arizona, man.
Forks down.
I don't know, man. Tennessee looks good.
Yeah, they beat Auburn, who were undisputedly number one for a while.
Yeah. I mean, Duke, if Cooper Flagg, man, that guy's a beast, right? That guy is a beast.
This is going to be a good tournament.
This could be. This could be a fun tournament. I'm excited about it. So
unless Arizona loses to Akron in the first round, then it won't be.
Where's the big upset coming? That's it. The 5-12s are always there. Is there going to be is there going to be that 2-15? That's what everybody wants to know. But a ton of money will be wagered, inside of inside of your office as my it's hilarious because you watch everybody watching these games on like a Thursday and they're rooting for like colleges you've never heard of. You can't even find on a map, but I like their uniforms. The Democrats suck, and they don't just kind of suck. They're in a place that is
What a transition.
They couldn't even make it into the NIT. That's how bad it is. They're awful,
good.
and they're just kind of like it's kitty litter kind of stuff.
I'm going to use that from now on.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, feel free. So if you guys haven't heard, suck.
How low can you go? Voters' views of Democrats in Congress, the lowest ever approval ratings on record per Quinnipiac University. Look at this. Approve 21% among all voters. Look at the disapprove level. Holy Toledo, 68% of all voters disapprove of how Democrats are doing in Congress. You might think that is low, but I want to bring you over here to how Democratic voters feel, because this is truly unbelievable. Amongst their own party, how do Democratic representatives, senators, how are they viewed? Get this, the plurality disapprove at 49%.
That is so awful. I have never seen a group of people implode the way that they have. They have fallen apart, and watching them try to get it together is hilarious. They go sideways. They don't know which way they're going half the time. They pick the worst. We've talked about it all the time here. If there's the worst thing, like what are the three ways we can go? A, B, or C. They're like, but C's the worst. They're like, we should probably do C. Nobody whatsoever, even in their party, thinks they're, and here's the thing, even in their party, they think they're going the wrong way. And here's the problem. They all think they're going the wrong way, and they all have the ways they want to go, and they think the other way is the worst way. So it's not even like, oh, I wish our party would do this a little bit more, but you know what, I can get behind what you're doing. No, they're bad all the way around.
More Democrats disapprove of the job that their party is doing in Congress than approve. Get this, only 40% approve. These are truly horrific numbers. They are in the trash bin of history. That is how low these approval ratings are. When you can't even get plurality approval among your own party, you know you're doing something wrong in the eyes of the American public, Jessica.
They are in the trash bin of history. Yikes.
I like the litter box of history, being covered up by the cat as we speak. I said today on my other show, if you watch, if you're familiar with like a lot of sports in Europe, they have relegation, promotion relegation. So think about it this way. Think if the you know, the AAA baseball team would win they go up and play in Major League Baseball. The last place team, Major League Baseball, comes down. That's what would happen. Right now, the Democrats will be relegated to a minor league position because they're minor league. They have no leader. They're rudderless. And a lot of people find what they're doing a joke. And even when they oppose Trump, it's always on the wrong thing. They take the wrong path. They're like, nope, we think that, you know, women with penises should be inside girls' locker rooms. And then they go and say, nobody should be deported, no matter what you've done. They pick the wrong path over and over again.
What do Democrats want from their own party, right?
Yeah.
Do they want them to agree with Trump more, or do they want them to oppose Trump more? Democrats in Congress oppose Trump too often, just 4%. How about the right amount? Just 19%. How about not enough? You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that this is the largest number on your screen. 77% of Democratic voters say that their party in Congress does not oppose Donald Trump nearly enough.
Nearly enough. But where would you oppose him? See, when it came to like the Doge question, well, first they weren't going to fight it. They were going to work with them. And then they said, no, we're not going to do this. And the people that were on part of the Doge kind of committee, the Democrats, they stepped away. Now they're doing it all themselves, and they're all up in arms about it. Yet a lot of Americans, a vast majority of Americans, we don't like waste. We don't want fraud. We don't want abuse. And yes, some of these things were stupid. Why aren't you guys working with them? You pick the wrong hill to die on because you've got nobody with common sense leading anything you do. Keep doing it, please.
And had there been a government shutdown, would it have hurt Democrats among...
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Because amongst Democrats, we know that they wanted their representatives and senators in Washington to fight Trump more. Blame for a government shutdown, just 32%. of voters would have blamed the Democrats in Congress. Look at this. 53% would have said Trump or the Republicans in Congress. Everything was saying that Democrats should not give in to Trump and the Republicans in Congress. They should have, in fact, taken a stance because that's what their base wanted, and the American public would have sided with them as well. I'm honestly not quite sure exactly what Chuck Schumer was thinking, at least when it comes to the American public and the blame game.
I'll tell you what Chuck Schumer was thinking. He was looking out there and going, okay, even if we don't get blamed with it, now what's going to happen? And he said it the other day. You're going to leave Trump and Elon Musk the opportunity to go, you know what? Let's keep this, and this open. And let's get rid of all of these departments. And we'll put these, what needs to be done, we'll put under these departments. And we can thin this thing out and we can take a run at it. And he came out and he said, look, if things go sideways, these people may never get their jobs back again. So that's what he was thinking. Like it or not, he was thinking something a little different because he's thinking, am I fighting Doge? Right? Because every day it's a Doge thing. I mean, what was the thing this weekend besides people burning Tesla cars? Did you guys see the haircut thing? So he got a haircut, Elon Musk, and he said, I'm going back to this haircut. And if you guys don't know the haircut, it's longer on top. Now, Matt would have this kind of haircut if he shaved it all the way around the back. But he didn't. And it's a prohibition haircut. You kind of have it a little bit, Jeff. You'd have to shave it all the way around. It's a prohibition haircut. What do they compare it to? It's the Nazis. Because everything's the Nazis with them. You miss the point over and over. You pick the wrong place time and time and time again. Rather than being a party that works across the aisle, you're not going to get everything you want. As much as we'd all like to get everything we want in life, do you get everything you want with your wife? Do you get everything you want with your girlfriend at your work? No, very rarely do you. Maybe in a situation here or there, but not overall. But rather than work it as it, you say no. And the other part of that is it goes back to also they're worried about the blame. Not whether or not it's good for America or Americans. They're not worried about whether or not it's good for us. The things that they're looking to find, the things they're looking to do, the things they're looking to hopefully carve out of all this crap, start saving us money and put us on a path that is actually sustainable. They're not looking for whether or not that's good for America because nobody cares. It's unfortunate in politics anymore. It's, we talked about on Friday with Reagan. What did Reagan say? Man, imagine what would get done if nobody cared who got the credit. Everybody cares who got the credit because everybody keeps score. And now because of social media, more than ever, do people seem to care. A lot of you chiming in about illegal immigration. What's going to happen with this? There's going to be another hearing today over the White House's, let's get rid of these MS-13 members. Let's get rid of these horrible, and they are horrible. By the way, I'll let you guys know. Some of you ask, what do I know about MS-13? My little brother, God bless his soul, is not in MS-13. His father, however, runs MS-13 in Southern California from prison. My little sister is actually, these are my niece's nephews. This is my little nephew. And he has never met his dad. He doesn't know who his dad is. His dad he just checks every once in a while to see how he's doing. He doesn't want him to know who his dad is because of how bad he is. And it is a horrible lifestyle. And these people are everything you think they are. And then some. And I've spoken with him on numerous occasions, called the house even before. He didn't want his son to know, my little nephew / brother. Because like I said, my sister had all kinds of issues. My mom took on the kids and adopted them all. He never wanted to know who his father was, who his grandparents were, who his brothers and sisters. I will tell you, there's 7 brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, all of them in prison for life. They're bad hombres. They're all born and raised here. They are bad. But that being said, we got to follow the rules. We got to do it right because you don't want to be accused of being what the left says you are, which you can barely listen to anything they say. But when you do everything the right way, guess what happens? They don't have the moral mountain. They don't have any of those things that they think they're going to be able to stand on, which is what they're trying to do. They're looking for something on a daily basis. And eventually, these things will make their way up to the courts, which is what you want. You want to get it to the Supreme Court. Okay, what does it say? Do I have to declare? Can I declare these people terrorists? Can we get rid of them based on this? Because we didn't do that in 1812. We didn't do that in World War I, World War II, but we looked at them as enemy combatants, potentially. So can I use this for that? Which is, look, you're not going to get any arguments of how bad these people are. I look at our Constitution, I look at our president, and I want him to not only succeed, I want him to kick ass. I want him to be all of the things. I do. We should all want that. And I think he's going to be that, and then some. But if the courts come in and everybody's like, well, the courts aren't allowed. This is only the Supreme Court. It's not only the Supreme Court. It's a judicial system across the board that has that say. That's why it works its way up. And everybody's like, well, he's allowed to do stuff because that's what our founding fathers wanted. Founding fathers actually wanted Congress to be somewhat the supreme. But that was never going to happen because these people are idiots. They don't want to be that because there's decision-making abilities. I don't want there to be, the fight that we fight here is a fight that it's all about doing the right thing the right way. As frustrating as it may be. And if Congress wants to change the laws, which they should have a long time ago, and that goes for both sides of it. You guys could have changed the laws in immigration 100 times, and everybody chose to do something else. And they continue to do so. We'll have more on this. A bunch of other stuff still to get to. You were going to say something, Jeff. You look very inquisitive.
Inquisitive.
Is this about the MS-13 member?
It threw me off for sure.
He is a...
do you think he's like more forced to at the moment, or is he he's too far in?
He's a shot caller. He's in life. He's doing life. He's never getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing life. And he said, by the way, this is something he never wanted, but his entire family was that. Something he never wanted.
Just unfortunately born into it, kind of
born
thing.
into it. And he thought he had times where he could get out, and he didn't. And he's an amazing artist. But the reality is it was all he knew from the day he was born. And it sucks. And but as dangerous, these people are so dangerous. You have no idea how terrifying they can be. Some of the stories are, let's just say my mom, she never has to worry about anybody ever coming to their house. That was, we got you covered, Mary. Like, okay. A lot of stuff still to get to. Ton of stuff. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We're on Twitch, which again is kind of odd that, we're on the Twitch. How do we do on Twitch? Do we know? Do we ever go there?
We get some viewers.
Okay, cool. Check it out on Twitch. You can check us out all across everything. I don't know why we're not on Rumble yet. We should be on Rumble. There's definitely that. Of course, you can check us out on Twitter and YouTube and the radio as well. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital this Thursday, 5:30 our time, a free live webinar. My buddy Zach Abraham, who, by the way, for the last several months is saying, take your money out of the market here and look elsewhere, including foreign markets, because we're overbought and the opportunity's there, and it's coming. He wants to show you what Bulwark's all about. If you're investing, if you're in retirement, near retirement, if you're looking for other things, maybe you just want a second voice, Bulwark's going to give it to you. It's a free live webinar. It is 5:30 our time. It's a great way to find out what Bulwark does. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, most upside potential. You should check it out. You won't be disappointed. Worst case scenario is 45 minutes. You're not happy? You part your own ways. But I bet you learned a lot of things. And I will tell you this. I send my family, I send my friends, I send everybody there because Zach is amazing and I believe in 100%. He is who I deal with from top to bottom. I was in the business for a while. This guy is the business. If you're looking for somebody who is going to not give you a cookie cutter but build something for you, Bulwark has you covered. 5:30 this Thursday. It's a live webinar. Go to knowyourriskradio.com, KNOW, yourriskradio.com to sign up today for Bulwark Capital's first 100 days webinar taking place this Thursday. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 25137.
Legal fights over deportation flights. Coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's very rhymey, Ken. I like that.
I'm a poet and didn't know it.
Oh, look! Do you see that they're thinking about taking down all the stuff in England with Shakespeare?
No.
Yeah, because they're worried about people being offended by colonialism.
Please tell me you're joking.
Oh, I'm serious.
I request that to be a
Stratford
joke.
upon Avon, which have been there. It's very nice. It's Shakespeare everywhere. It's very, very Shakespearean.
Wow.
We're lost as a society.
You have to wonder how crazy that he probably was. Because back in his day, they probably thought, this guy's
Well, Romeo and Juliet is about an 18-year-old kid and a 13-year-old girl falling in love. So, yeah, he wasn't all there.
No. You know who else
but back then, that was normal.
Or was it? He made it
Hans
normal.
Christian Andersen. Do you guys ever know about how crazy he was?
Mm-mm.
He was obsessed with Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, kind of befriended him, said he can come stay with him. He wouldn't leave. Drove him crazy. Dude was nuts. It was crazy.
So he had a stalker.
Yeah. Well, that stalker lived with you. That's kind of weird, right?
Stanley Kubrick was also insane.
Yeah. There's, a lot of people like that are.
Roger Waters.
Yeah. He's very anti-Semitic, by the way.
He is. He hates Jews, man. I saw
he does.
If you have a Nazi outfit, I don't care if it's a quote unquote, what is it? He says it's satire. That's pretty
well,
weird.
you're not part of Monty Python.
Yeah.
No.
Right? Okay, if you're part of Monty Python, I could get it because you're probably, first of all, you're not taking it home with you.
Right.
Monty Python gets a pass.
Yeah. I just, some of these people are nuts. But part of the creativity world is being a little aloof, being a little weird.
Yeah.
I feel like he crossed that line years ago.
He did. I mean, but yes, he's got a lot of problems. I never liked Pink Floyd anyways. To be honest with you guys.
I love Pink Floyd, but, in The Wall, he's actually preaching against Nazis.
Yeah.
Yet he's doing this.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Now he's like, I love Elon. I'm going to buy a Tesla. Oh, I don't think he says that, Chad.
No.
A lot of you guys are chiming in about the haircut of Elon Musk. We'll talk about that. A bunch of other stuff straight ahead, including Immigration Nation with Ken Weaver. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like we got a crash in Hermitage Central Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard, drivers. Full forecast in 5 minutes. An escalating legal fight over the Trump administration's decision to ignore a federal judge's order to turn around 2 flights containing hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members deported to El Salvador on Saturday, where they are now imprisoned. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defending the move ahead of the next hearing in the case, which takes place this afternoon.
The president is using every lever of his executive authority and his constitutional authority within the bounds of the immigration laws of our country to ensure that our streets are safer for law-abiding American citizens.
Meanwhile, another federal judge canceled a hearing this morning for a doctor who had already departed the United States by the time CBP received notice of the judge's instructions.
The administration says the Brown University kidney specialist traveled to her native Lebanon last month not to visit relatives, but instead to attend the funeral of the slain Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Homeland Security says Rasha Alaway openly admitted this during her detention at Boston's Logan Airport. Officials say they also found photos and videos sympathetic to Hezbollah on Alaway's phone. Despite a judge's order aimed at preventing her deportation, the doctor's visa was canceled, and she's now reportedly back in Lebanon.
Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Jordana Miller reports from Jerusalem. Terrorists are angry for the U.S. response for terrorists attacking cargo ships.
The Houthis threatening a, quote, severe response against American forces here in the Middle East. That after the U.S. carried out intense strikes on the Iranian-backed militant group across Yemen. U.S. officials say the Navy targeted Houthi operational centers, weapon depots, and senior leaders. At least 50 killed in those U.S. strikes. President Trump ordering them after the Houthis threatened to renew their attacks on shipping vessels, including American ones, in the Red Sea Sea due to stalled Gaza ceasefire talks.
Meanwhile, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy on whether or not these airstrikes may work.
It's unlikely the Houthis will back down, at least philosophically, but if they can deplete their ability to actually carry out these attacks by destroying their infrastructure and leadership, that could stop it.
Canada seeking closer ties with European allies. Here's ABC's Ines de la Cuterra at the foreign desk.
Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney saying it's important for Canada to strengthen ties with what he called reliable allies in Europe. This as Carney met with French President Emmanuel Macron for his first overseas trip as President Trump targets Canada's sovereignty and economy. Macron did not mention Trump's attacks on Canada, but did say tariffs only bring inflation.
March Madness time. Got your brackets yet? NCAA men's basketball tournament set. The Vols are the number 2 seed in the Midwest region. Vanderbilt number 10 in the East. As for the ladies, the Lady Vols, Commodores, and Tennessee Tech are in. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
There was a little thunderstruck over the weekend, not just here, but also in Yemen. All right, guys, people want to know if Trump would have went a little bit further over there, he could have got the blowfish. That's what some people are saying, not just Houthi. And other people are thinking, this is a great name for a band, Houthi and the Blowfish.
Fun fact, my dad golfs with Darius Rucker.
Oh, does he? Well, how about a little bit more braggadocious, okay? There you go.
He's a very competitive man.
Who, your dad or who?
Darius.
Yeah, Darius. Does he hate that when everybody calls him Hootie?
I haven't interacted enough with him to be able to call him Hootie.
Does your dad come out and say, shut up, don't look at him, don't talk to him?
Yeah, actually. He's like, don't embarrass me. And I'm like, that's fair.
Man.
And then I when I hit a bad shot and I slice it, I take off my shirt and run around and pretend I'm an insane person.
I like that.
I just do that anyway.
Well, there's every reason to do that.
Well, Ken, if we ever golf, there will be a lot of alcohol, so I think it'll be bound to happen.
It'll be shirts off and it'll be wrestling golf.
And that's just the first hole. We haven't even started yet. We're still inside paying to go on the course.
Yeah. Ken's like, I'm going to go to the snack bar real quick. You see him just running around in circles.
Oh, my Lord. So Darius is your dad's pal.
I wouldn't say pal. They're golf buddies.
I think that makes you a pal. I mean, if you're golfing with somebody.
An acquaintance, a golf acquaintance. If my dad's like his sixth string alternative if no one else can golf.
But like if your dad said, hey, I would like to take my kid to see, Hootie, or you play.
I'm sure they could.
All right, there you go. There you go. See the way that works, kids? Trump, now what is the situation we're in when it comes to what's going on with these bad hombres, as he said earlier? Some of you last hour took it as, I don't like what Trump's doing. I like what Trump's doing. I love the Constitution. I want Trump to do it right because there's already too much crap out there that comes at him. There's already too much that comes at him. And I'm a big believer, do it right. Don't give them a chance. Don't give them anything to go after. And the question of whether or not he did the immigration flyaway this weekend, did he do it right? Did he not do it right? What's next? I mean, look, there is, and so many people are going to scream and yell because so many people want just Trump to have carte blanche to toss everybody out. It doesn't work that way. And again, blame Congress. Congress has failed forever. Congress has always had opportunities to do things, and they have failed. That's why the Supreme Court and the president seem to always have more power than Congress, because Congress has shirked their responsibilities. They've said, I'm not really into this. Not the way you think. I'm going to give a little pass on this, right? We'll fight. We'll argue. We won't actually do anything about it because it's kind of who they are. Well, this liberal judge, whatever he is, the judicial system is what it is, and the laws need to be followed. We may not like it. We may think it's frustrating that we have to sit here and look at this situation and think these are, as he puts it, bad hombres, because they are. MS-13 is bad. Trente Agua is bad. They're all bad dudes. And by the way, that is a place you do not want to go. That facility is, it's one of those things. There's a reason that Pablo Escobar killed as many as he did, who said they were going to be for extradition of drug dealers to the United States, because the last thing they wanted to do was be in a lockup here where it was either a supermax where it's 23 hours a day in a room by yourself with maybe 1 hour of opportunity to come out, and that was it. Or put in general population where you'd be in a lot of trouble because people want to make a name for yourself. This place is that and then some. It holds 40,000. I think there's about 15,000 there, although they got 200 yesterday. And this place in El Salvador is no joke. If you've seen the videos, they shave your head. You wear white. You would never stand up and walk. You are face down, essentially doing like a turtle walk, and that's where you go from point A to point B. If you got bad knees, you're in a lot of trouble. But how long these people are going to be held, I don't know. But the question is, did he have the right or didn't he have the right? Well, it's too late now.
Privately, sources are saying that because those planes were already out of U.S. airspace and over international waters, then the judge didn't have jurisdiction. The judge, after this hearing was over, halted all future flights. But now there's a question of whether the Trump administration did, in fact, violate what the judge said in court.
Did he or didn't he? Was it, somebody said earlier, well, what if somebody stole the Mona Lisa and they went into international waters? Because that was the argument. It was too late. They were in international airspace, and they were past the point of essentially no return, meaning the plane had gotten to the point now where it didn't have enough fuel to turn around and go back. It was in international airspace, so it had to go on. And once they got there, well, you saw what happens from there. I don't know. I don't know what happens from here, and I don't know what the judge is going to rule. I think he's going to rule you can't do this. There's got to be due process. And from there, we'll see what happens. This is all about making it get to the Supreme Court as fast as possible. Do I have the right to use this law from 1798 or whatever And I know it's supposed to be for wartime. I think this is a war situation. Do I have the right to use it? Because if I don't, then we've got to figure out what else we can do, how we can expedite the bad guys going home. That's what this is about. We want the bad guys gone. And we want them gone as fast as possible. And a lot of people are like, no, this is wrong. No, you've got to follow the Constitution, as frustrated as some people may be. And in doing so, everybody's like, well, what about Biden this, Biden that? And how did you feel about that? You hated it. You hated a lot of what Biden did. But here's the one thing. Biden, like everybody said, what about all the loans he forgave? What happened? Every time they went to court, they got crushed because you just couldn't forgive loans. What was next? We're going to forgive car loans? Then we're going to forgive mortgages? No, it just wasn't going to happen. Now the question is, what comes from this situation? Where does it go from here? How soon will the Supreme Court pick it up? That's something I'm interested in. When's that next hearing?
Those planes were still in the air. They could have been turned around if the administration ordered them to be turned around. So the judge has now scheduled a hearing this afternoon for 5 o'clock where he is essentially telling the government, come prepared to answer these questions. And I'm sure there will be some fireworks in there as the judge could say whether he believes that the administration did, in fact, violate his order.
And then what? What are you going to do? I mean, worst case scenario is the marshals get involved, the marshals that are under the Department of Justice? And Pam Bondi? You think they're really going to do anything? I mean, are they really going to arrest anybody? Are they really going to go after anybody? Are they going to hold them in contempt? Maybe that's it. Are you going to prove where they were? Do you have radar on those things? I have no idea what they're going to have, but we're going to find out, and it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I am all about getting rid of the bad guys, and I'm all about doing it in a way that leaves the media and the Democrats with nothing. Can't say anything, can't do anything, because it was all done in a way that was right. And you do throw stuff against the wall because you know it's not going to stick. But you also know the goal isn't for it to stick now. The goal is to get to the Supreme Court. At that point in time, we'll figure out what happens from there. Do I think they're going to send anybody today? Some of you want them to. Some of them want to. Somebody said, do illegals have constitutional rights? Well, it depends. First of all, I know we got rid of, I don't know how many Trente Agua. There was more Trente Agua than MS-13. Are they being held here for crimes? Should they have faced their punishment here? Because how long they stay in El Salvador? I don't know how long they're going to be there. That was always my big thing with some of this stuff. But yeah, they have some constitutional rights, whether we like it or not. They have some rights, as much as we don't want them to have rights or anything. They do. And that's frustrating to a lot of people. Again, change the Constitution. And they're going to look and say, well, what was the process here? Did you get rid of people that should have been? Did they have their process? Did you kick them out? Were they under asylum protection? Were they this? That's where people are going to go. Not as an individual, as a group. We got rid of a lot of bad people. Again, this is not against what he did. It's about doing it right and following the path that's in front of them set by the Constitution. Which is what I think most of you guys want. Most of you don't want Trump to go, screw the Constitution, I'm going to do what I want. Because that's not good. Nobody wants that. But you test things. Bad people going away. This is the hill that the Democrats want to die on. Well, go ahead and die on it. That's why you guys are failing. That's why everybody's laughing at you. That's why you guys are where you are at this moment in time. You're choosing the wrong path. We want to choose the right path. We want to do the right thing the right way. I've always been that way. The Constitution is vitally important, and we should protect it. And it's been abused all too often by many people on both sides of the aisle who not just dance around it, dance on top of it if given the opportunity. And the last time I checked, I look at Trump and I think he loves the spirit of the Constitution. He's not one of those people that wants to do that, but he also understands I'm going to test some of the boundaries. Okay. But once you get the answer, then you follow it. That's what you need to do. And I think most of you agree with that. Some of you, maybe you don't. Here's something I agree with. Eggs coming down. See the way I do that, guys? The pivot is spectacular. Why does this matter? Economy. Economy matters. Eggs coming down, huge.
The average wholesale price nationwide fell to $4.15 per dozen. So let's put that in perspective. That is down about $2.70 in just 1 week. Prices were over $8 at the end of last month.
That is awesome. Why are they coming down? Because eggs. We have more eggs. We've imported hens. I don't know what it is that we've done magically. Maybe everybody's bought all the eggs that they could. But they are coming down. You know what's odd is we have all these eggs in the refrigerator, and we didn't buy them. We've had them for a while. They could have hatched by now, for all we know. Because I don't eat. I rarely eat eggs.
I eat them every day.
Do you?
Yeah, I have 2 every day.
Oh my God, dude, that must cost you $45.
I don't know how much it's costing.
He's a chicken massacre.
What? What are you talking about?
I was
are you
trying
drinking?
I may be.
I'm a chicken masochist.
That's what it is.
Oh, why are they coming down?
Part of the reason for the steep drop is people were put off by those high prices, so demand is lower. The other reasons, experts say, are because bird flu outbreaks have decreased. And get this, Easter is really late this year, so demand isn't that high right now.
Demand isn't that high. They still do. I mean, do people still do Easter eggs like that? Do you still dye the hard-boiled ones? And then you leave them out there, and then you forget about 1 or 2 of them, and then summer rolls around, and you find one, and you know how you find it? Because it's the most disgusting thing in history.
My little fat wiener dog would eat it.
Good Lord.
You don't want fat wiener dogs eating your egg. I'll tell you that right now.
You don't want that, man.
So I thought you would just do plastic eggs.
That's what my parents have turned to now for their grandchildren. And did turn to was the plastic egg variety.
Yeah.
But growing up, man, we dyed them.
Oh, we dyed them too. That was super fun back in the day. Yeah. Man, you put them on that little thing that you would balance it, and you'd put it in. You'd like, this one's going to be blue on this side and green on the other.
That's right. Two-toned.
That's right. And this is why Jesus rose, because of the Easter Bunny. I don't think that's true. Probably not. But we did it. We don't know why. Speaking of that, it's St. Patty's Day. We'll talk a little about St. Patty's Day. Because it's St. Patrick's Day. Do you know why they call it St. Patrick's Day?
Dude was named Patrick?
Patrick, you're right. We'll talk about that.
Are you wearing green?
I'm all inked up with the green, dude.
Oh, so you're forever
I'm
green.
always forever green. You know, see what I'm saying there, you little. Don't make me come in there. Poke you and I with a shillelagh.
Shillelaghs aren't sharp.
Well, they are when I hit you over the head with them. Your eyeball falls out.
Is this hostile work environment?
It absolutely is. This is Irish work environment.
Irish.
Shut up and do your job, button pusher. I love it. It's great. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks. You want to win? Prize Picks can help you with that. Now, here's the beauty of Prize Picks. If you guys know what it is, first download the app. And it's not like it's a fantasy sports game you play every day. It doesn't matter what it is. Hockey, soccer, baseball. It doesn't matter. They got it all. NBA, all of these things you play. You pick players and you pick the over-unders. It's that simple. Jason Tatum isn't scoring more than 29 points. Will Luka have more than 10 rebounds? It's that kind of stuff. It's easy and simple to do. My wife and I play it. It takes about 60 seconds. You set it up and away you go. Here's the other thing. When you use my code Chad and you download the app, you play your first $5 lineup, just $5. Win or lose, you get a $50 bonus immediately. Win or lose. So try a Prize Picks today. Simple and easy to do. It's fun to play. See what everybody's talking about. All right? And have a good time doing it. And remember, play my code Chad when you download the app. $5. You get $50 instantly. Win or lose when you play your first dollar lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Another angle on the legal fights over deportation flights and new details in Gene Hackman's death. These stories and more coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, you could have seen them the night that Trump addressed the Congress. And you watched the Democratic Party. They seemed like they weren't there. They were sort of vacant. They weren't saying anything with their manner. They never questioned the facts. They let the president lie about Social Security and say that we're giving benefits to people who are 160 years old or to their grandchildren. We allowed Elon Musk to go on television and tell everybody that we're using Social Security as a lure to bring people into the country illegally, that we're giving them benefits, which we're not. We're giving them to illegal people in the country who came in illegally. We give it to them, lie after lie after lie, and said nothing. I'll tell you, James Carville, who said the Democrats should stay silent, may be partially right, but where he's wrong is you have to have a fact checker. There needs to be a war room. Remember in 1992? Yeah. Remember how Bill Clinton won that election because he had a war room. He and George Stephanopoulos were down there in Little Rock, and they were checking every fact, and nobody checks the facts anymore. And the lies are getting through to the American people.
They are.
They are. Well, who gets to be the fact checker? Because you guys fact checked so many things that weren't real, that were lies. You told your side of the story on so many occasions. And then when all was said and done, your facts didn't add up.
So are you saying they're, dare I say, fake news?
They are fake news. That's Chris Matthews. Every once in a while, they'll drag him out, throw him against the wall and see what sticks. It's not very nice. But that right there is a perfect example of insanity when it comes to, well, we need more fact checkers. You guys fact check all the time. And then everybody else fact checks because you come at it from a left-leaning point of view with only your score told. I'm not saying the right doesn't do it because they do. But who do I trust more? The right. And yes, the right will leave out stuff too. Everybody only wants to tell their score, but they'll tell some of the score. A lot more than the left will. The left will tell no score. Meaning they're going to give their score. How'd you guys do? We scored 8. How'd the other team do? We scored 8. How'd the other team do? We had 7, then we added an 8th. But what happened? Well, we scored 8. That's what they do. They tell their side. The other team could have scored 10, meaning the other team had it right more than you did. You tell your side of a story. You got behind, the 55 intelligence offers, it's only this, it's only that, it's Russia, Russia. You got behind BS after BS after BS. And it didn't work for you. So I don't care who you fact check. And you shouldn't. By the way, I love to fact check both sides. I think it's right. Some people get mad. Oh, how dare you do that? Why? I don't want my side lying to me just like the other side lying to me. Who wants that? You want the right line to you? No, I don't. I want the truth. There's enough truth out there to win the day. But you got to be honest about it. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of people, they only want their side. I've always said this, been here for a few months now. I am not about affirmation. I'm about information. I'm going to give you my opinion. I want to hear your opinion. We don't always have to agree. We don't. But, you know, I too often I see everybody only wants that's why the beauty of the media and how fractured it is right now and how opportunistic everybody can be and they can go there and they can watch stuff is you can find everything that you want, including if you want to live in an echo chamber. And I've never been one of those people. I've always wanted to find out all kinds of information. What's the other side thinking? What are they doing? What are they saying? Am I missing something? And a lot of people don't like doing that. It makes them uncomfortable. Okay, that's fair. But I want to know all the things that are going on, and I just want my score. And Ken and I talk about this all the time, how hard it is to get every ounce of a story because everybody's got a place that they want to put their opinion or leave out really sometimes the lead story. I took a picture yesterday. Actually, I took a picture today of Chris on my driving back from I had a client meeting this morning.
You took a picture of Chris?
Chris on my radio in the car.
Oh,
there was a picture of Chris and then a picture of Joan. But everybody, like I took a picture this weekend of Trump's poll numbers. Depending on where you were, every headline was different. Poll numbers are crashing when his poll numbers have never been better. Right? But it depends on where you're going to get your information. And that is frustrating. Absolutely. A lot of stuff still to get to. Does the French want the big, giant, huge lady back? The Liberty? We'll talk about that. You French. What did Dennis Miller say? You know why it's green? Envy.
What other accents can you do? We must find out.
I've got a lot of them, mate. I'll tell you that right now.
Good. I'm honestly impressed.
Scottish. I love Scotland. When I lived in Scotland, it was fantastic. By the way, we were talking about the haircut earlier today, about Elon's haircut. Everybody's all Pinky Blinders haircut is what it is.
He got a haircut?
He got a haircut, and then everybody started comparing him to Nazis. They said you look like a Nazi, but it's Pinky Blinders haircut or a Prohibition haircut, depending on what you want to do.
Okay.
He can walk down the street, and they're like, he walks like a Nazi. It's
He
like,
breathes like a Nazi.
Yeah.
It's like Herman Goering right in front of me.
He sleeps like one, too.
Oh, my God, is that Herman Goering? Yeah, it is Herman Goering. I could smell him.
Oh.
By the way, speaking of that, we should talk about the astronauts.
Yeah.
You notice how everybody bitches about Tesla? They never say a word about SpaceX, do they? We'll talk about that. Bunch of other stuff. Super Talk 99.7.
.1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers still working a crash. Hermitage, Central Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. Full forecast in 5 minutes. A federal judge setting a hearing today over the Trump administration not turning around 2 flights containing hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members deported to El Salvador Saturday, where they are now imprisoned. Here's Catherine Falders.
Privately, sources are saying that because those planes were already out of U.S. airspace and over international waters, then the judge didn't have jurisdiction. The judge, after this hearing was over, halted all future flights. But now there's a question of whether the Trump administration did, in fact, violate what the judge said in court.
Well, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defended the move during this morning's briefing.
Very grateful to President Bukele and to El Salvador for accepting these heinous monsters where they will face justice.
As a new timeline and the death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
It now appears Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy Arakawa, died 1 day later than investigators first believed. They thought she died on February 11th when she stopped responding to emails. But Santa Fe County Sheriff Adon Mendoza telling ABC News they've learned on February 12th she called a concierge medical service
and may have not been feeling well.
Investigators determining she died of rare hantavirus, and then a week later, Gene Hackman died of heart disease.
Well, consumers increased spending last month. Retail sales rose 0.2% from January to February, pushed mostly by online spending. And some relief for consumers. The national average wholesale price of eggs continues to drop. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Part of the reason for the steep drop is people were put off by those high prices, so demand is lower. The other reasons, experts say, are because bird flu outbreaks have decreased. And get this, Easter is really late this year, so demand isn't that high right now.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy Bee, join the Beehive Club. Why is that? Because you want to make sure that you've got it on your list. You got a couple inspections for the year that pays for your Beehive Club. And let me tell you something. It is incredible knowing that you're part of the club. So many people I talk to, you don't realize if your electricity goes out, you can go a day or so while it gets fixed. If your plumbing goes out, you're running down the street, or you're a neighbor's house. You don't want that. Busy Bee's ready to help. Whether you maybe got an issue with your main line or your pipes have gone wonky, you don't want any part of that. And as you know, those pipes go wonky. They start to burst. Things start to go wrong. Ugh. It's not just about the plumbing. All these other things can happen. What about your HVAC? As the weather starts to turn, starts to get humidity, starts to get nasty, you're going to want to make sure that's ready to roll. So if you got any problems, whether it's with your HVAC, whether it's with your plumbing, there's only one to go to. And they're very busy because they're Busy Bee Plumbing. Call them today. 775-7833, 775-7833. Join the famous Beehive Club today. It's Busy Bee, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. The hell is this? Shame on you.
I didn't do this. It's just a bumper. Blame Bell. This is Bell's show. He runs this thing. I'm just making sure it goes smoothly.
Well,
that's right. I'm calling Bell out.
I think we can all agree that was awful.
Yeah. I'm blaming Bell, and I know I'm going to get a very explicited text saying it's somehow my fault.
It is. Bell's already said it.
Nope. This is on Bell. I'm making a declaration that is Bell's fault. Blame Bell for that music.
I will. I'll blame Bell. I've already told Bell. Shame on him.
Yeah, good. Good.
When he plays this stuff that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounded like horrible. That was like one of those albums, from a band that
It's like 90210
and it's
kind
like
of music.
it's the deep cut that nobody listens to.
It's the soap opera transition music.
It's one of those like, hey, we had to have 9 songs on the album.
See, this goes back.
9 songs.
This goes back to the 80s, man, when I loved Men Without Hats, the safety dance. But the rest of that album stinks.
They had Pop Goes the World, I think, on their second album.
Yeah.
And then we asked them kindly to leave.
Wow, they really
take the little guy with you.
They didn't think they didn't think too long with their name, did they? For their band name, Men Without Hats. That took them 10 seconds to come up with?
You don't know how long it took them.
All right, guys, we're running out of names. Well, we don't have hats right now. and we're men.
Chumbawamba?
Chumbawamba.
Remember Chumbawamba?
I get knocked down.
And I get up again.
Yeah, that's man and woman in some sort of language. That's where it was above like the men and women's restroom.
Yeah.
That's where they saw it.
There's only one good name, and it's the greatest band of all time, Creed. Waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
No, we were talking about Creed a couple weeks ago.
Creed does not deserve the hate it gets. Like Nickelback, it does not deserve.
They're on tour together.
Yeah.
They're playing a big festival in Wisconsin called the MILF Festival or something like that. And it's
I'm interested.
with Daughtry.
Daughtry's not bad either.
No,
they're all good bands.
It's all those,
those unnecessary hating on bands.
Well, I just heard and used to
I freaking love that song.
Right open.
Yeah. That's with where arms wide open.
Welcome to.
We didn't play that though. Are we going to get in trouble for singing?
I don't think we match his voice.
We probably won't get in trouble legally, but just
take me higher to a place where blind men see.
Scott Stappen. Did you like that song?
That was a good song.
I never had a problem with Creed or Nickelback.
I did not either. I actually liked them as a kid. I don't understand why they got hate.
I liked
Because
Creed.
it's easy. It's
Creed.
easy.
That song, Higher Place, that was when my daughter was born.
It's easy to hate is why. Right? Like it's just
why are they
easier
easy
to
hate though? That's my question.
You either like it or you don't.
I did hear that the lead singer of Creed is like kind of full of himself.
Nah,
this is
he's
all
changed.
rumors.
He was a hot mess for a while. Scott Stapp was a hot mess for a while.
So that was, I think, part of the reason they got hate though.
Yeah. But like Nickelback, I never really understood why Nickelback. And by the way, they play into the hilarity of the fact that everybody
it's
likes
hilarious.
Yeah.
But
I heard their live shows were really good.
Yeah.
Photograph is an underrated song. It's an underrated.
We're getting a lot of love on the Nickelback line. Count up Nickelback, 40 minutes nonstop. Oh, Nickelback. So he married, what's her name, right?
No, that's a different dude.
No, the guy from Nickelback married, she married the Sum 41 guy. Then she married him.
Oh, you're talking about, There's someone, the lead singer of Nickelback looks a lot like an actor. I forget his name, but they're very and he's married to, God, who's he married to? Another. She was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She was the Sarah Marshall in that movie. I forget her name.
Oh yeah, Dax Shepard.
Yes.
Yeah. They live out here now.
Well, everyone does.
I know everybody does.
They've at least got a house.
Yeah, I think they live here more often than not. Is kind of what I think happens because nowadays, with everybody's got a private jet, so you can zoom in and out in a way that you never could before. And so I think a lot of people live there for this, reason. You got a private jet, you can get to L.A. And nobody shoots just in L.A. anymore.
They rarely do. A lot of them shoot in Canada.
Yeah. You know why? Because for all the whining and the moaning that the left and Hollywood does, they go out of country and out of state because, unions crush their souls.
Yeah.
Make everything more expensive.
Imagine having to go into Canada. That's a fate worse than death.
They go to Vancouver, BC. And they also go to Georgia. Georgia's huge.
Africa. They shoot a lot of stuff in Africa.
New Zealand?
Yes.
Is also a big place.
That's Lord of the Rings.
Well, what was I seeing? I think there's going to be a Young Guns 3.
A Young Guns?
Yeah, you would know this. Ken, that's for you. Young Guns 3.
Really?
Yes, with Emilio Estevez.
As Billy the Kid.
Christian Slater.
What's Young Guns?
And Lou Diamond Phillips come in. Stop with that. What's Young Guns? Shut up.
I'm looking
you make my hip hurt when you say stuff like that.
Oh, Gordon Bombay's in it.
Yeah, so, but He said, we're going to shoot it here in America because it's an American theme. It's a Western theme. We're going to shoot it here. You know where else they go? They go to Eastern Europe. It's very cheap. Go to Bulgaria, make it look like anywhere in the world.
I've seen this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a third one of these?
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be. Young guns, kind of older guns, middle-aged guns.
Has there ever been a good third, like except for Star Wars Episode 3, has there been a good episode, like a third movie of a trilogy? Because Star Wars Episode 3 is probably the greatest third end of a trilogy of all time.
Jaws.
That's Jaws 3D.
3D.
Good. That one's
Lou
awful.
Gossett Jr.
Well, hey, there was a Jaws for The Revenge. Remember the Revenge
with Michael Caine.
Yeah, the shark wanted to go after a particular family for revenge because they have that kind of brain.
It ate Mario Van Peebles. It ate Michael Caine's boat.
And it was plane.
He landed his plane and it ate it.
Yeah. There should have only been a Jaws 1. The fact they made a sequel is
Dennis Quaid's in part 3. And Louis Gossett Jr.
He is.
That's right. And Beth Armstrong.
Have you seen, speaking of Dennis Quaid, have you seen the Reagan movie?
I've not.
I've heard, my parents saw it and they got, emotional.
Really?
It's that kind of good movie. Because Reagan's great and his upbringing is a great story.
It is a great story. Rocky 3, yeah, that was good. Raiders
is good.
Rocky 3, yeah.
Yeah, Rocky 3 is good.
That was back during the Cold War,
Well,
man.
they even had a Rocky 4. They made a fourth movie that's good. How often do you see that?
I must.
Well, what are they on? They're on Rocky 47.
Well, Fast and Furious is at 28, and they've all been bad.
Sharknado 3, somebody just said. Lord of the Rings. John Wick.
Oh, John Wick is very good.
Yeah.
It kills 45 people in one scene.
He does. He kills a lot of people.
Well, Keanu Reeves is, talk about someone that can do no wrong as a person. We don't deserve Keanu Reeves.
No. When you hear stories about how awesome he is.
Yeah, and they're all
when he
true.
goes and he trains and he does all that shooting stuff, he stays and picks up all of the spent shells.
Yeah.
Really?
He does. They're like, you would never know. The Matrix. So when Matrix made all that money, when they did the next one, he gave everybody massive bonuses. Some of them up to, because he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a legit, not someone for the camera, legitimately a good person.
Hunger Games, Back to the Future, Rambo 3.
Okay, I love Back to the Future 1 and 2. They were some of my favorite movies. The third one's terrible. Sorry.
Was that the Western one?
They win the Wild West, yeah. It's basically Back to the Future 1, but in the Wild West. That's what it is.
Halloween 3 was stupid because it was not about Halloween.
It was
Was that the witch one?
Season of the Witch.
Yeah, because they try to make it into kind of like a series into of different monster stories.
Well, what happened was Mustafa Akkad, who owned it, they got into a huge fight, and he wanted to do something, and they wouldn't let him have some of the characters, so he got to keep the name, and then he threw in Season of the Witch, and if you guys ever know what that is, it's stupid.
It's a terrible movie.
It's about the Shamrock mask company, remember? And if you watch it, and then you watch it, and it does a little thing, then all of a sudden snakes come out of your eyes.
Basically, your brain, your face comes off, and your bugs come out of your face. Like a kid, it was to kill children. That was the premise of the movie. All the kids were going to wear these masks, and then when they watch the TV show at 8 o'clock or whatever the thing is, their masks trigger bugs to come out of your brain. Basically, I'm not making that up.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was awful.
That's the sad part. And then there's robot
humans. It was so
humans.
bad. Michael Myers is like, you know what? I'm going to kill people in another movie.
I'm going to kill people out of spite now.
Yeah, it was a bad movie. So we're taking your attacks on what was the worst or best part 3. Rocky, that's a good part 3.
I liked it.
Rocky was a good part 3. Someone says Star Wars 3 is not good. I highly disagree. I will fight someone on that.
Which one was Star Wars?
So
3?
that was the last of the prequel. That was when Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Oh,
at the end.
Those things suck.
No.
They
1 and
stunk.
2 are bad. 3 is actually good because it's Anakin turning to the dark side, and actually is really the last fight against him and Obi-Wan's amazing. Him turning to Darth Vader.
You
gives me
were the
goosebumps.
chosen one.
Oh, but it's so good. We make fun of it now, but at the moment it was emotional.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, which if you guys don't know what that is the worst movie in theory, it is the worst movie ever made according to Hollywood.
It's so bad, you've got to see it.
Someone said Godfather 3. I haven't seen. I didn't. I forgot there was a third one.
Plan
Because Godfather. Talk about a good sequel and original. Godfather 1 and 2 may be the best 1-2 movie ever.
The fat guy in Plan 9, man.
Yeah. And Plan 9. So remember when they did Glenn or Glinda? That was a movie that Johnny Depp starred in about Ed Wood, who was a cross-dresser who did the
love that movie.
Well, in Plan 9, Bela Lugosi dies, and he replaces him with his... Bella's like 6'3", his dentist is like 6'2" and bald, and he just replaces him in the middle of the movie playing the same part.
That's right.
It's great. It's so bad. It is worth seeing.
Yeah, Bella, he was really addicted at the time, man.
Yeah, he had a lot of problems. Nightmare on Elm Street? Who's the 14-year-old talking? He sounds like he hasn't hit puberty. That would be Jeff.
Yeah, Ken. Sorry. I already feel bad. I can't make fun of Ken. I can't do it.
Karate Kid 3. Was that the one
They
with...
made a third?
Yeah, that's the one with what's her name, right?
Karate Kid 3.
No, Karate Kid 3, that was the one with Ralph Macchio. The other one was with Hilary Swank.
Have you seen the series Karate Kid, like on the Netflix series?
I
That's
have not.
really good.
I have
If you
not.
like the originals, that's really good.
I've not seen that one. So I don't, I keep saying I'm going to watch stuff, and then, well, I don't.
You know what's sad is just all these movies coming out now are just sequels or remakes. There's nothing original coming out anymore.
Well, Hollywood. Well, you know what? They bring out original stuff this weekend. Everything just kind of...
Yeah, they don't promote it.
Novocaine?
But that, I think,
that
looks
movie
pretty
looks
good.
entertaining.
That actually
Yeah.
looks really good. And that's speaking of Dennis Quaid, that's his son.
Yeah, that's right. Tor Johnson, by the way, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Tor Johnson.
Wasn't
yes,
he a wrestler?
I think he was.
Yeah, that was awesome. Plan 27 from Outer Space, the unofficial name. 3 from Hell, Rob Zombie was awesome.
Yeah, I love Rob Zombie
Is that the
movies.
House of a Thousand Corpses?
House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Reject, 3 from
Yeah.
Hell. So it was all good.
That's a snuff film. That first one.
A lot of them. Oh, God.
That first one's so
House of 1,000
uncomfortable.
Corpses. Oh, it's brilliant.
Seeing
movie.
Dwight Schrute into a mermaid.
I know. It's just so awesome. We got maybe some real stuff coming up. We may take some more of your texts along the line. Make sure you text at us. We love hearing from all of you. Bunch of stuff still to get to, including something that happened at a jazz club in Indy. What do you think should happen to this jazz club? We'll talk about that. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 369, all of this incredible stuff in a powdered supplement that you sprinkle on top of your dog's food. And why would you do that? Because you want your dog to be healthy. So they're doing a 90-day challenge. First things first, you go to ruffgreens.com and use my code Chad. You're going to get a Jumpstart trial bag for free. It's a $20 value. You cover the cost of shipping. Then you take the 90-day challenge. First 30 days, the coat, you're going to notice how much thicker and shinier it is. And you're also going to see the energy levels. By day 60, their immune system will have improved. On top of that, no shedding, and you'll see mobility because the inflammation's gone down because of the live nutrients you added on that one scoop. And by day 90, heart health has improved, energy levels through the roof, more mobility. It is like a whole new dog. If you love your animals like I love my animals, try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens and, yes, take the 90-day challenge. Go to ruffgreens.com. Use my code Chad. You cover the cost of shipping. They get you a Jumpstart trial bag for free. ruffgreens.com. Use code Chad.
Deportation, legal fights, and President Trump's warning to Iran. These stories and more coming up at 2 on Super Talk and 99.7 WTN.
I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually, we don't. Get out of my bar right now.
You're not welcome.
I'm not around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
hat. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! Get out of my bar.
No, that's funny. You know what?
It's funny when we're hypocrites.
That's it. I don't care. You should be able to serve whoever you want to serve. I got zero problems with it.
Sure.
My issue is if those same people go and say you have to make a cake or you have to do this or you have to do that, and you say no, they scream and yell.
Yep.
I'm a big believer. Serve whoever you want. Knock yourself out. Zero problems with that. But then don't come back to me if somebody that you want to, go after because they're like, no, I don't want to make a cake. I don't believe in that. My religion says marriage between a man and a woman or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. And you say no. You say no. We're not going to do that. No, we're going to sue you now because of what you've done. Why are you going to a jazz bar anyways? Young people go to a jazz bar.
That was a jazz bar?
Yeah, it was a jazz bar. It was a hippie jazz bar. It's one of those infusion jazz bars,
If I hear fusion in a bar, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Don't ruin an easy gig for me, okay?
A hard pass on that, yeah. So it's one of those like, oh, it's jazz and fusion with bloody.
All you have to do is say, hey, we serve booze. That's all you need to do. It's not that hard.
Yeah. In fact, you're going to get so drunk, you might think, hey, this music's all right.
And then we'll play Creed and blow your mind.
Blow your mind with Creed. Blow your mind. $50 million for hot coffee?
Michael Garcia was working as a delivery driver picking up drinks at a Starbucks drive-thru here in L.A. Surveillance video shows one of the hot drinks appearing to spill all over him as the improperly placed top came off as it was handed to him through the window. He suffered severe burns to his lap area. Starbucks was accused of failing to secure that lid. Now a jury awarding Garcia $50 million. Starbucks says while it sympathizes with Garcia, it was not at fault and will appeal.
That is, that's hot.
Do you know, Dan did this in the morning show, and it was just like, it still makes me cringe.
What, the hotness?
What the outcome of the spill. It's not just the spill.
Oh, yeah.
It's the aftermath.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, see, McDonald's, remember when they lost that and everybody thought, oh, that was stupid?
Well, she just burned her tongue.
No, she burned her genitalia, and it was awful. And the thing is, McDonald's had been warned a gazillion times, your coffee is burning through stuff, and they ignored it.
Oh, I thought it was just she burned her mouth on it.
No. She was a mess. Like, it was awful.
So this is more than this
This is the lid. This isn't it burnt through. How do I know that the lid wasn't put on correctly? I mean, it's possible, but $50 million seems a bit much. Would you take $100,000?
Well, let's just say he's getting from what I've heard, he's getting skin grafts and such.
Yeah, that's what happened to happen with that lady.
Ugh.
Like it's one of those things where like it forever changed your life.
Yeah, she was 79 years old.
Yeah, and by the way, like I said, the McDonald's thing was they had been warned so many times about that. This is a little different. $50 million though seems a little hefty.
Yeah, she just got $3 million.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
and rightly so, kids.
$3 million back then is $50 million now.
Maybe. Coming up, third hour, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And at Monday's State Department press briefing, spokesperson Tammy Bruce defending the administration's decision to ignore a judge's directive to turn around 2 flights containing hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members deported to El Salvador, where they're now imprisoned.
President Bukele has shown he is not only the strongest security leader in our region, he is also a great friend of the United States.
Now, Catherine Falders reports the next hearing in this case is this afternoon.
Privately, sources are saying that because those planes were already out of U.S. airspace and over international waters, then the judge didn't have jurisdiction. The judge, after this hearing was over, halted all future flights. But now there's a question of whether the Trump administration did, in fact, violate what the judge said in court.
Trump administration says the United States will keep attacking Yemen's Houthi rebels until they end attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping corridors. Here's ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump ramping up his rhetoric on Iran, writing on social media, quote, "Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran." He adds, Iran will be held responsible. Asked to explain that statement, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters,
Our message to Iran is you better take this president seriously, and I think the Houthis learned that the hard way.
Democrat lawmakers telling Americans the Trump administration's effort to overhaul the federal government will cause starvation. This is Connecticut U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal.
People went hungry during COVID. Now, Donald Trump and Elon Musk threaten to make America hungry again.
Now they're talking about $1 billion in cuts to the USDA, some programs that has farmers selling fresh vegetables to food banks. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer postponing much of his planned book tour after angering the progressive flank of his party.
The top Senate Democrat had planned several stops in New York City, Baltimore, and here in Washington, D.C. to promote his new book, Anti-Semitism in America, A Warning. But Chuck Schumer's office now says, due to security concerns, the events are being rescheduled. There have been widespread calls online for activists to protest Schumer's appearances following his decision last week to facilitate passage of a GOP spending bill that progressives had hoped he and his Democratic colleagues would block.
And with the drugs used in lethal injections in short supply, the state of Louisiana set to try a new method of putting condemned people to death. An appeals court clearing the way for the execution of Jesse Hoffman Jr. Federal Judge Shelley Dick put a temporary halt to Hoffman's execution, writing that the use of nitrogen gas might cause, quote, terror and psychological pain in violation of the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution. An appeals court has overturned Dick's ruling. Now Jesse Hoffman's attorneys head to the U.S. Supreme Court with just one day until the planned execution. That's the latest news. Weather is next. And Ken Weaver, WTN News.
the Wellness Institute of Nashville. My buddy over there, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, you're going to want to go see them. If you've had issues with your back and you're like, what am I going to do? Well, they've got you covered. You've probably tried a lot of things. Right now, they've got the Big 47 going on. Now, it's 47% off in honor of our 47th president for non-surgical spinal decompression. And I will tell you this. You and I both know something goes wrong with your back. It is a nightmare. You feel great one day, horrible the next. You can't do the things you've always wanted to do, and you can't do the things you're used to doing. Don't let that happen to you. Let Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley take care of you. And it's great. During your consultation, get an exam. Right? So it's full exam, x-rays included. If needed, you can bring an MRI as well. They're going to go over your condition and put a game plan together that it's going to get you feeling healthier, happier, and doing the things you want to do again. The Big 47 going on right now at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Start your new year off rocking and rolling and feeling great all the way through the summer and beyond. It's a pain-free life. It is possible. Call today, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com. Interesting listening to the starvation, Chris Murphy. Everybody's going to starve. It's going to happen, guys. You can't help it. It's all about the billionaires.
What they are trying to do essentially is siphon support away from families and children to finance their tax cuts for billionaires.
Which we shouldn't have. I think just have the tax cut for the middle class. Leave it at that. Make sure you've got, the taxes are low and comparable to the rest of the world when it comes to our taxes in, corporations. But that's it. You don't need the billionaires to get any tax. Again, how many times have I explained this to you? They don't pay the same way you and I and everybody else pay. They don't. They don't get a paycheck. Doesn't work like that, right? They have stocks and they've got boards and they go and they get loans and do all these kind of things. Give them nowhere to go. And yes, make sure that the middle class is what it's all about. Trump has a chance here to change forever the way politics is looked at, especially by the middle class. He's got a great opportunity here. And they're going to keep going back to it's this or it's that. Well, these kids are going to starve and they're never going to be able to eat. And it's all about Trump. It's Trump's fault. Trump, Trumpity, Trump.
The president is willfully violating the Constitution and ignoring spending decisions made by Congress and intentionally throwing this country into economic and political crisis.
Okay, but for what? Because some of these programs, and you heard, yes, some of these farmers, and some of you have even hit me up and said, look, they've already canceled my orders, but they said they may come back, which is a possibility. I mean, I think what happens in a situation like this, whether it's Doge or a lot of these other things, is it sounds horrible, but you overfire because you know that you're going to have to bring some people back. You're going to have to reorganize. Some of these people are going to, you know what, you were under this umbrella. We're going to put you over here. We were going to do this. Now we're going to put you over here. That's the way that some of this works. And you've got to cut. Everybody wants the savings. Everybody wants to see waste, fraud, and abuse cut out. Everybody wants to see us shrink the ginormous, huge amount of money that we spend. Nobody ever wants it in their area. And when it comes to kids, that's what you say. It's all about the kids, right? It's all about the kids. Got to make sure that the kids aren't going to eat. Oh, this is it. There's going to be all the kids are going to starve.
People went hungry during COVID. Now, Donald Trump and Elon Musk threaten to make America hungry again.
Have you seen the size of America? We could do with the diet.
Yeah, I was like, we can lose a couple pounds.
I'm not saying part of Make America Thin Again. It's because it's disingenuous. Do you think that Trump and everybody wants to see kids starve? No, they don't. Do we need to fix some things? Absolutely. There's no doubt we need to fix a bunch of crap. We have overspent in areas that are ridiculous. And Democrats, I'm looking at you because so many of these were your areas, and Republicans, you're not off the hook either. Because you did it just as much when given the opportunity to spend other people's money. You enjoyed doing that. So a lot of people are guilty at this, but we've got to be smart. We are, in truth, probably closer to $80 trillion in debt. Think about that. If we're talking about the unfunded liabilities. So those are the promises we've already made to people that aren't close to retiring, but hey, we promise to take care of you. $80 trillion. And we have to get that under control. And there's going to have to be cuts. There's going to have to be a tightening of the belt. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear a lot of stuff. They don't want to hear things that go against their beliefs. They don't want to be challenged in certain things. They don't. This is the reality of it. You know, you've got to admire, like, you know, Bush Sr., what did he say? No new taxes. Read my lips. He had to have taxes. By the way, Reagan threw on a bunch of taxes at times because you have to be smart about it. We have spent so out of control. $2 trillion every year we overspend. And because we can go and print our own money and borrow nonstop, that is not a good place to be, because we are at the point now where we basically looked at our kids and say, man, you guys are screwed. You can't even, Peter, Paul, Mary, all of them, all dead. You can't rob from any of them. Gone. Everybody that you could is gone. You've exhausted everything because we have spent out of control. And we need to reel it back in. And it's not going to be an overnight thing. And there will be more than a little bit of discomfort in certain areas. But we didn't get here overnight, and it isn't going to change. Batya Ungar-Sargon was on with, she's famous, being pretty left. She was on with Bill Maher the other night talking about Trump and the tariffs and why this is a good situation, that he is going after many of this, including China. Because let's be real, a lot of the other stuff is negotiation. A lot of the other stuff when it comes to other countries is different than when we're talking about China.
The reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing.
Right, the largest share of our GDP
was in the middle class, the biggest chunk, the middle class,
most
people
of
who were
what was
middle
produced
income.
came from the middle, and now it comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20% controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated.
It's uncomfortable there. It's true. The rich have gotten richer. The baby boomers are rocking and rolling. And if you got parents who are baby boomers, you know what? At some point in time, the transfer of wealth is going to be phenomenal. But for a lot of people, they're struggling out there. And the struggle is very real. And the middle class is they're feeling it more than ever before. And the tariffs, in particular against China and several of these other places, for just specific items are needed because of the potential of what may happen. Making, Canada the 51st state, whatever. Let them troll all day. Do I see the reality of something like Greenland and why it's important? Yes. Because the macro, the bigger picture is there's us and China. And we need to be prepared. And we get too much crap. that we don't need from China, and a lot of the stuff we do need from China, they have control over.
That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff.
They're making all of it. And the pharmaceutical side of stuff is scary. But when it comes to many of the other things that we would use, that's why the CHIPS is such important. The CHIPS Act that Biden put in and that Trump put on blast, and the growth of all that is important. But those are still a long way away. And if they open those places today, we couldn't even fill the places with the amount of workers it would need. We don't have the skilled labor to do it. It would take a long time, but it's still a long way away from a lot of these things. And then you got to figure in technology because, well, you know, technology is going to play a huge role in this. We've talked about it even with farming and what technology is eventually going to do for it.
Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
That's a good answer. Now, do I think that if we're going to bring back all these manufacturing jobs? No, because technology is going to play a huge role. A massive role. Because companies are still coming back here, right? And they're starting to come back here more. But if I was getting cheap labor in China, and I've got a chance now to have no labor, virtually no labor here, with technology, yeah, I'm probably going to use that. Most people, most business owners and stuff would say, absolutely. Not saying it's going to be everywhere. But this is about a bigger picture with China. And when it comes to like the PPE, when it comes to the actual like pharmaceuticals stuff they have such a market on, and we've allowed it because we want cheap goods. That's the other side of it. Everybody seems to think that America is overnight going to go, okay, fine. You can manufacture everything here. We're willing to pay more because our wages will catch up. We hope. There's no promise in that. And to get the manufacturing back to where it was in the 70s, 60s, that's a 10-year deal. But it's not just about the manufacturing come back. It's about bringing stuff back here, even if it's done partially through automation, that gives us the strength that we need. We decided a long time ago we wanted to consume, and we were going to export ideas and import cheap goods. And we've done that. But we got to change. We absolutely must change. And I think we will. But is it going to be the perfect thing? No. But most importantly, there are certain things that we absolutely must start doing in this country because the bigger picture, especially when it comes to China, is huge. Speaking of China, but not China, Iran. Yeah, we sent a message this week, and that had zero to do with the Houthis and all to do with Iran. Essentially, look, we know they're your guys. We're going to say that they need to stop doing stuff when it comes to piracy and this, that, and the other, which we need them to stop doing. But this is really about you, Iran. So how about you stop with the nonsense of trying to get a nuclear weapon, or else it's going to get ugly. The instability in the region, a vast majority of it is your fault. Hamas doesn't act without you. The Houthis don't act without you. We can go on and on about just about every group out there doesn't act without you. And the thought of you getting a nuclear weapon, I mean, honestly, if they got a nuclear weapon, probably have to go to Saudi Arabia and make sure they have a nuclear weapon because they're mortal enemies. So we can't have that because we can't have the bully on the street being the one who's the most unstable bullying everybody. And then all of a sudden, you get one, then I want one. And then here we go. And that's not where we want to go with this. Talk a little bit more about that. Bunch of other stuff to talk about. Got some text messages as well. Reach out to us. And you can also check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Is there any more?
That's it. You got them.
I
It's
thought
only
it was
4.
5.
Well, it will be 5 when we get Rumble.
Okay, there we go. Not right now, it's just 4. So there you go. Check that out right there.
4 horsemen.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all of this incredible stuff, power-packed into supplements. 1 time a day, right on top of your dog's food. And let me tell you something about this. If you are like me, my dogs are young, so I'm not really worried about it. My older dog, man, he had so many troubles. And we got about an extra 6 years out of him because of Rough Greens. It's got vitamins and minerals and all this great stuff. And what we started doing was giving it to him once a day, just on top of his food. We didn't change anything else. We were desperate. Lo and behold, he was still around kicking for many, many years afterwards, and we only made one change, and it was Rough Greens. They're doing a 90-day challenge now. You're going to see improvement in everything from their fur to their skin to their digestive tract, as well as their immune system, their heart health, and so many other things. Take the 90-day challenge and get a free Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today, ruffgreens.com. Go there, use my code, CHAD. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. Ruffgreens.com, code CHAD.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Deportation legal fights and Trump's warning to Iran. These stories and more at 2:30 on Super Talk and 99.7 WTN.
We're coming back before long, so, don't make all those plans without me. We'll be back before too long.
I can tell you at the outset, all of us have the utmost respect for Mr. Musk and obviously respect and admiration for our President of the United States, Donald Trump. We appreciate them. We appreciate all that they do for us, for human spaceflight, for our nation. And we're thankful that they are in the positions they're in.
I love this. There's a Yahoo headline. Starliner astronauts to return with Crew 9 sooner than expected, except for the 2 that were there 9 months longer than they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. That's a 3-hour tour they went on. 9 months.
That's right, man.
If you guys don't know, so it was 9 months ago. They were supposed to go, I think, for 7 days.
8 days.
8 days. It was Wilmore and Williams, and they go up there. So Suni and them, and they go up there, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to be here for a little bit." And then all of a sudden, Boeing's like, "Yeah, we're going to have to return this rocket. It doesn't work anymore."
I said this before. The wife is like, "Who is she?"
Yeah, who is she?
You said 8 days. It's been 9 months. Who is she?
It's been. And they're like, "Well, you know what? We're having some issues. We're going to shoot this thing back. We're going to have it come back down. We're going to see if we can fix it." And then they really had some serious issues. So they were on the space station. Did you see the guy floating around in the alien head?
Yeah. How do you not go actually insane? Like, how can you not just like lose your mind a little bit? You don't come back the same.
What? I don't know. What do you mean you don't
9 months in isolation?
They weren't in isolation. They were with other people.
And they trained for it, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you train for.
You can't you're saying the movies lie to me then, where this happens.
If you're by yourself for 9 months floating around, bro, I'm thinking you might be a little
if
cuckoo.
if you're in space with a couple of people, one of you is becoming a killer, and you have to survive him. That's just how life works.
I think you watch way too many movies.
I don't know what you're talking
where
about.
they have really big places. Have you seen how small everything is in there?
Yeah, it's tiny.
You make it seem like they're just First of all,
they're
why
like
would
mice
you
in a
kill
little
somebody
in space?
In space.
Who's gonna catch you? The police?
They're filming everything. We know it was you, Jim. Was it?
I
Yeah,
don't know
Jim.
what you're talking. I had an alien head on. You couldn't tell it was me.
There's only 3 of you, Jim. Right?
2 of them are dead.
We know it was you. So you're so bizarre.
You're telling me the space station is like those little like you have hamsters, they go little like those round tubes all over the place. It's not like that.
Somebody said, oh my God. She wanted to go out with you again?
Maybe. I think I killed Ken.
That was just. You mean
one
to tell me
down.
they don't have those things where they're running around on tubes? Floating in space?
That's what it's like, I said.
Somebody said
Like
it's
the movie
Antarctica is what you're thinking of when you're out there. Although I've seen the Antarctica stuff. It is very bleak, but there's a lot of people out there too.
Name one.
Name what?
Yeah, they've got stations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know any of the people there, but
Yeah,
they've
we're
got
not
people
pals.
there.
I'm like, hey, dude, you want to hang out? What's it like? You see penguins, polar bears? What's it like out there?
Hey, Jimbo.
Oh, KGB has lost it in society.
Man, you know what? Being up since 3 a.m. does something to a man.
I've been up since then and then some.
Were you?
Chad doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, Chad, you're nocturnal.
Yeah, but still, you're like, well, that's in their space, and you just go around killing everybody because you got space brain.
You just got a cadaver
space-
floating around with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm suited to go into space.
You're not. You're not even suited to go across the street right now and get a burger. Hey, if you were in space and you didn't bring underwear, would you kill somebody? Excuse me?
I mean, to be fair,
wow, you're unstable. That's a good thing.
I'm not unstable.
Little bit.
I'm just tired.
I'm just tired. You don't think they're tired? Somebody said, did they bring extra underwear? Yeah, I don't really know.
They must have some. They can clean their clothes, right?
Oh, sure.
Well, I mean,
they've got the big, giant, huge, giant space ball to run around in. So they got to have some sort of washing machine in the space ball.
Well, actually, think about it. They were planning for 8 days. They don't have a lot of extra.
By the way,
clothes.
they were planning for 8 days, not at the space station.
Yeah,
that's a good point too. So yeah, they have like no clothes.
So
that's a logical reason then.
Easy to dispose of body, leaves no traces.
Yeah, just that button that goes out into space.
Okay, now people are saying.
Just like in that James Bond movie where they're in space, Moonraker, where he just pushes a button and they just go out into space like it's nothing.
Yeah, that's what happened. And on all the cameras?
Yeah.
Nobody'd see you, right?
No, I mean, you can
with
be
your uniform that says
seen the
Jeff on it.
Yeah. Officer, that wasn't me, I swear.
It'd be like
it
that
has
scene.
your name on it.
All of a sudden, the closed circuit would just stop working for about a half hour.
What happened to Linda? I don't know. There's only 2 of you. She went
Unfortunately,
outside,
closed
never
circuit
came
wasn't
back.
working.
It was God's will. It was God's will.
Somebody said it was just like when Steve Buscemi got crazy space brain.
Yeah.
Remember, started freaking out?
Oh, in, what was it, Armageddon?
We're never going to tell anybody about this again, are we? So, no, they're fine. They're coming back. By the way, who brought them back? Anybody?
Bruce Willis.
No.
Oh, I forgot.
By the way, Bruce Willis dies in the movie.
I know.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, but if you guys haven't seen it, it's like 25
It's
years
a
old.
great movie.
Oh. Yeah,
No, but
if you haven't seen that movie by now.
Yeah, it's no spoiler there.
I could see. All right, well, how are we going to get these people out of space? All right, who's in Armageddon? We got to get those people. They're really good.
They're really good. They're really good. You guys are awesome. You guys been in the big space ball that likes a hamster? They didn't show you that?
Elon Musk made it.
No, Elon Musk sends the SpaceX Dragon to bring them all down.
It has wings on it. It flies.
It does.
It's like a never-ending story. They
It's
go,
like
yeah!
Avatar. It's like Avatar. There you go.
Something I noticed, too, with Friday's launch, that rocket came back and no arm grabbed it.
No,
it just landed.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it landed perfectly. He's doing something right. It almost looks fake, like it's running in reverse.
Yes.
Yeah. He's really good at that stuff. So just to let you guys know, he's really good at that. For those of you out there who don't quite understand that. And who's an idiot? You get some of those wackadoos out there. Coming up, more of Jeff's wisdom. Boy, it's spectacular.
The new segment, KGB Wisdom.
Wisdom straight ahead. A bunch of other stuff to get to. It is Jeff Benson, Super Talk 99.7.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And drivers, we've got a problem on the South Loop going eastbound. There's a stalled vehicle. TDOT is reporting it, so you got to get over to give them some room there on the left shoulder, 40 eastbound near 4th Avenue. A federal judge holds a hearing this afternoon over the Trump administration ignoring his order to return deportation flights of what the Trump administration says were Tren de Aragua gang members. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says the flight was already over international waters heading toward El Salvador when the order came. Trump administration defending its decision to deport a medical school professor based at Brown University. Stephen Portnoy with the latest.
The administration says the Brown University kidney specialist traveled to her native Lebanon last month not to visit relatives, but instead to attend the funeral of the slain Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah.
Why do you think
Homeland Security says Rasha Alaway openly admitted this during her detention at Boston's Logan Airport. Officials say they also found photos and videos sympathetic to Hezbollah on Alaway's phone. Despite a judge's order aimed at preventing her deportation, the doctor's visa was canceled, and she's now reportedly back in Lebanon.
Yeah, she left the country on her own. Elsewhere in our nation's capital, Karen Travers says the United States will keep attacking Yemen's Houthi rebels until they end attacks on shipping in the Red Sea.
The president is really ramping up his rhetoric. He posted on his Truth social media platform that these attacks being made by the Houthis, he said, all emanate from and are created by Iran. The president said any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force.
And Democrat U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal claims families might starve under Trump administration cuts to a program designed to help farmers supply fresh food to food banks.
We are ready to fight because we've never been at a more critical moment for our democracy, for working families.
He's out there speaking against the USDA, announcing around $1 billion in cuts last week due to the cancellation of the Local Food for Schools program and the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement program. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, did you guys hear that? Maybe some more rain coming? Got some nasty rain? USS, man. United Structural Systems. If things are quite what you think they may be on the top, doesn't mean underneath it couldn't be ugly and nasty. That's why you need USS, United Structural Systems. They're going to come out, take a look, make sure that everything is rocking and rolling and ready to go. Your foundation, you do not want that to go south. You know how that can be. And this weather can play havoc, and it can be a nightmare. And they're going to take care of you. You don't want rot. Oh, you don't need mold. None of that stuff. When it comes to basement and all the things going on, USS is there for it. And structural repair, right? Because the damage, you just don't know. Part of the whole thing is you think it looks okay, but you're not quite sure. USS is going to come out. They're going to give you they're going to go through, give you an absolutely free inspection. They're not going to sell you anything you don't need. And they're going to take care of you like nobody's business. Just in case, USS. That's who you need to call. Call 615-488-7855 today. They're there to help. They guarantee their best. They've been around for 30 years, 30,000 happy customers, and they're ready to help you just in case. And you hope that just in case, the water, the basement, you're never quite sure. Crawl space, call USS today. 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com.
Those planes were still in the air. They could have been turned around if the administration ordered them to be turned around. So the judge has now scheduled a hearing this afternoon for 5 o'clock where he is essentially telling the government, come prepared to answer these questions. And I'm sure there will be some fireworks in there as the judge could say whether he believes that the administration did, in fact, violate his order.
So what are you going to do? They violated the order. Let's just say they did. Right? You got to prove it. I don't know if there's some law. It's just if you're over international airspace, what are we going to do? It's over international airspace. You can make the argument. Hey, they were past the point of return, meaning they had exhausted their fuel to a point where it was impossible for them to turn around, and in doing so, it could have caused issues. So they carried on, but if they did violate it, what are you going to do? Honestly, are you going to hold them in contempt? You're not going to arrest them? Are you going to get the marshals after him, run by the Department of Justice? No. So I'm curious. We all want the baddies gone, and I want Trump to follow the Constitution. And there are limits to powers for all politicians, including the presidents, when it comes to the Constitution. But I'm just curious about what it is that you're going to do if they did violate your order. And we've talked about this throughout the day. Some of you are upset. Somebody said, we should run that judge out of town. That's not how we work here. They all judge shop. That's what they do. There's a reason that Khalil guy from Columbia is in Louisiana. You're finding the judge that you think is going to give you the right answer because eventually you think, well, this thing's going to get to the Supreme Court and they'll have the final say in this. Trump earlier today talked about it on the airplane, which, by the way, looks cool. Every time I turn around, it looks pretty good. Like they show a different spot. He's always just standing in the door jam. Like, what's up?
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
Well, so the act he used, 1798, I believe, and it's not an Enemies and Pals Act, right? It's an Enemies Act. Essentially, you're allowed to deport people during a time of war that speaks out against the government, it's been used 3 times, that potentially you could be a terrorist, you could be here to sabotage, et cetera, et cetera. They used it in the War of 1812. They used it in World War I with the Germans, and then World War II with the Japanese, obviously, internment camps, and as well with the Italians and the Germans. Notice there's a pattern there with the Germans. Seem to be in all of these. So it's not a war in that sense because we're not at that kind of war. And Congress is the only one who can go out and say, we're at war. So they've got to declare it. Now, you throw things against the wall, you see what sticks. Will this stick? I don't know. Why? Because I think with this judge, he's going to say, you guys disobeyed my orders. I told you not to. And yet you did. And that'll be that. I don't think they're going to send any more. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, yeah, he's totally going to send more. And you got a lot of people out there saying, absolutely. Tom Holman talking about, hey, this is a problem, right? We're solving it.
A promise made, a promise kept. But it looks like a judge is trying to stop this. Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why any judge would want terrorists returned to the United States. First of all, the video, what a beautiful thing to see.
It's incredible.
Right? Look, the President Trump, by proclamation, invoked the authorities of the Alien Enemies Act, which he has right to do, and it's a game changer. And we removed over 200 violent criminals from the United States, just not TDA, but also MS-13. The actions of President Trump made this country safer. Every criminal alien, every criminal public safety threat and national security threat removed from this country makes this country safer. That's what the American voters voted for. That's their mandate as the president. The president's keeping his promise. President Trump's a game changer. The Alien Enemies Act hasn't been used in a long time. And when I watched the video and I saw, and I was involved this week in this whole movement, there's an extraordinary thing what the President Trump is doing to keep his promise to American people to make this country safe again. And he's doing a fabulous job.
Apparently that's Tom Homan at a construction site. Bunch of tap dancers around it. Well, it is St. Patrick's Day. They asked him, what are you going to do? Are you going to send more people?
Another flight every day. Teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Yeah. I just love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple.
That was pretty funny when he did that. Now, we have fought some wars without declaration of war, but this is all about the declaration of war and using this right here, this specific thing. And yeah, toss them out. That's great. I want them gone. Everybody wants them gone. My thing is, I look at a big picture, and you go look at the Democrats, you look at a lot of other people, and you got to think not just about, well, this is how I feel. Think about midterms. Think about a lot of different things, because it's not just the economy. There's a lot of things that go into what's going to happen with the midterms, because they're already firing up. You want to know how I know? Because I get so many emails from people already asking me for money. God, is there anything else you people do? You know what? We should all start sending them emails asking them for money. Hey, we'd like some money. You guys owe us money. This is about 1942 was the time that this was last used, and it was held up in court. A German man sued, and it was actually held up in court. That no, you had the right to be deported. You had the right to be kicked out of the country based on that. Now, since then, is what is going to happen? Well, we're going to find out when it comes to not just 5 o'clock tonight, but this is, you and I both know, whether it's Khalil, who is that Columbia supposed grad student. They were like, he's a young kid. He's 30. How old are you, Jeff?
I'm 30 in June.
It's 30 in June. He's not a kid.
Thank you.
You're not. You're like kind of an adult.
I mean, I pay my bill. I have a good credit score.
Brother,
don't judge me. It's a good credit score.
Oh. Which had nothing to do with the conversation we were having.
You said I'm a kid. I'm kind of an adult. An adult has a good credit score.
You're kind of, but I was talking about your age. Like, you're like, I got a good credit score. Well, there you go then.
That makes me an adult, I feel like. No? Is that not a passage of adulthout, having a credit score?
If it makes you feel better, it does.
Okay.
These conversations with you are priceless.
Brother Malinov.
Oh, my Lord. That was spectacular. Kind of a kid, a little bit. But I want to see the administration do it right. I don't want there to be any blowback. And when you take away the fight, because they have nowhere to go, it is awesome. And that's what you want. That's what I want. That's what a lot of you want. And we want to do it right. And everybody judge shops, but it's all about what is the final say going to be if and when this and several other things get to the Supreme Court. If they say, no, he's got every right to do it, then there you go. And they'll start deporting themselves super fast, by the way. Because the last thing they want, and I'm telling you right now, this alone is a message. The last thing they want is what took place with these 200-plus clowns. Which, if you have no idea what this place is, it is awful. It is the worst of the worst for a prisoner. Now, I know they're there on 1 year. Like they said, they're there, like it could be renewed. Well, what's the... that's what I'm curious about when I saw that. Like, well, they're there at like essentially 1-year contracts because partially we're paying for some of this. You don't think we're sending it to them for free? No, everybody we send there, there's going to be a dollar number attached to it. But I don't know how long they're going to be there. For many of them, they may never get out. There's a lot of those guys in that prison. It breaks them. If you've ever seen MS-13 in particular, that's what makes up a majority of this prison in El Salvador. It is a supermax where it is almost like you go to prisons around here. My buddy works in LA County Jail, and he's like, they let us leave, right? It's not like that there. There it is. It's almost like it's you've got 1 or 2 soldiers, and they're all armed, and they're ready to roll. Your head is down the whole time. This is the place they fear to go. It has broken their back there. And every one of the members here and the gang members are looking at that going, I don't want to go there. I don't want my head shaved. I don't look at the ground and be somewhere for who knows how long. So we're going to see an uptick in people heading back across the border, which is good. But I also want to make sure that, you know what? Trump does it right because the less fight there is and the less noise there is, the more that can get done and the more that can be focused on because that helps in the long run as well. It's a bigger picture than just let's throw everybody out, which we know we're not going to do. Why not? Because we're not. The manpower still. We're a little short on the manpower. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I don't even know how many people they would need if they wanted to try to round every single person up. It is a lot more than we have now, because we are still limited in the amount of people that work for ICE and can come. But here's something, if you guys didn't see, there is a Navy vessel that starting this week is going to be patrolling in and around the areas of San Diego for immigration and to make sure that people aren't trying to get across over and land on the beach. I don't think they're going to be blowing them up, but I think they're going to need deterring them.
Why is that the first thing you think of?
What do you think? So I shoot now. They're like on a raft, like some guy's floating in a refrigerator.
They're all really excited. And he goes, no, not yet.
Not yet. Let him get closer. I don't think they're going to start blasting, with the 12-inch guns.
There's just a guy just waiting, sitting down, just waiting patiently for this moment. He says, I've waited my whole life for this.
I'm in San Diego. Not anymore. You're not. Now you're all over San Diego. Coming up.
You're over there, and up there.
Hey, that's Jeff. He's got a good credit score.
720, thank you very much.
Oh, look at that, kid. Settle down with you. No wonder she went out with you. She's going to go out with you twice. Coming up, we're going to wrap up the show. I see Matt's here, and he's in a sweater. Looks very studious.
Is it green?
Oh, it's green. He's wearing green.
He's got a pass.
He's got a little bit of a pass. We'll talk to him straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold. Have you seen where gold's going? You want gold. You need gold. And gold's a great way to protect yourself, especially when it comes to what goes on in the market. People are unsteady. People are a little nervous, up, down, sideways. The weakening of the dollar, inflation, tariffs. Gold, gold, gold. Right now, text the word Benson to 989898 today for Birch Gold. They're going to send you out an investor kit, simple and easy to work with. They're going to talk to you a little bit about why gold is right for you to protect what you're working so hard for yourself, for your family, for your future. And that's one thing gold can do for you. It's been around forever and a day, and it's not going anywhere. Text the word Benson to 989898 for Birch Gold today. Let them send you out their investor kit. No high-pressure sales, none of that stuff. It is simple and easy. It's a good talk, and it's a great way to find out how you can diversify and protect yourself. That's the word Benson. You text to 989898 for Birch Gold. Football. So that's what this feels like, football.
The boys in blue are on the gridiron. That kind of thing.
Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember, what was it? The
guy.
John Fonseca. It was the guy who did
was that NFL Films?
Yeah, NFL Films. And he did the Autumn Wind. Autumn Wind, the Raiders. The Buccaneer. What's up, man? What are you talking about today?
The Packers in green. Yeah, I can't.
Do I turn down the music? Do I keep it going?
No,
I don't. You guys are into
We're
it.
having fun.
Is
He's
that
got a
KGB?
720 FICO score.
Is that KGB?
I'm always here.
He's got a 720
720 FICO score. He's very excited about it. He was telling everybody. I said, "You're not," because they were talking about that Khalil guy that's 30. He's not really a kid. And I said, "How old are you?" He said, "I'm 29." I said, "Well, you're not really a kid. You're not really old." But he goes, "I got a 720 FICO score. That's kind of an adult thing." I know, right?
I said in the exact tone too.
You did.
Yes, it's very adult to proclaim it too.
Yeah. Well, he's fishing for dates.
Well, I only recently found out, so I was like happy about it.
What'd you go? Credit Karma? What'd you do?
No, I was doing I was getting approved for something, and they needed a credit score, and they did the background.
You just
check and
said
stuff.
720, and they just took your word for it.
No,
or did they actually check?
they sent it to me. They're like, we ran it back. We did a background check, and it came out like that. I'm like, oh. Okay.
What were you getting there, KGB?
Just something for my apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see how he clams up now for some
Well,
reason?
I'm not going to talk about my.
Are you not going to talk about your personal life? You just said
Was
your
it
credit
one
score.
of those giant, huge hamster wheels like they have in space?
I was joking. People forget that I joke.
I don't really think so. I think you think it comes out of your thinking. You thinking I nailed it, and then then you realize, nope.
Have fun doing the show.
That's okay.
I'm checking my credit score while we're talking.
Fantastic.
See what's
We'll see how adult you are.
See what's going on.
If you were a real adult, it'd be in the 600s.
Is 540 good? Is that good? Is that good? Lower the better, right?
Lower the better. It's just like golf. I'm shooting 300.
Have fun not going to my golf course. I'm not inviting you to anymore.
Oh, we love you.
It's
Come
making
on.
me download the app.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, I'm not downloading the app. Screw you.
What are you talking about today? Is there anything to talk about?
Oh man. Trump had a weekend, huh?
He did.
He had a pretty good weekend. He's attacking the Houthis, which is nice.
He's attacking Iran.
Let's
be fair. He's killing kids, according to the Houthis, because that's who runs everything there.
Well, I suppose. But one way or the other, just stop screwing with our ships. Stop screwing with our shipping lanes. I thought Marco Rubio did a great job. I think most of the Republican spokespeople, for the most part, in Camp Trump, are doing a really good job messaging to these very aggressive media organizations that don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't really know what to do. They want to be against Trump, but they don't know how to be against Trump when he's trying to deport a guy who was screaming death to America a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, it's tough to, it's because they're caught between a rock and a hard place because they continue to die on the wrong hills, both the media and the Democrats. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in a little bit with the hearing today about immigration.
I'm excited to report on that, and I'm also excited to tell you about a scam that's going on right now. I am Scam Central on the Matt Murphy Show because I was almost scammed, and PayPal. I got a scam to tell you about that run around on PayPal.
That guy right there, Matt Murphy. And the Irish cat's going to be straight ahead. Hello, everyone.